So this is going to be, by the way, hello! Welcome. This is our first ever rehearsal. Well, not first ever. Our first since the pandemic started. Rehearsal in the same room. We tried doing an outdoor rehearsal once, and that was problematic for a number of reasons.
Largely sound and frisbees.
Absolutely. So here we are in my new house. We've got an actual studio set up. So we're going to actually get used to improvising in person again. It's weird.
It's weird.
So what are you currently watching?
Oh my goodness. I just watched... What am I watching? What am I watching? My brain just completely froze. Oh, okay. All right. I admit to watching a really... Oh, God. Oh, well, British. What? Surprise, right? But I can't remember the name of it. I have to go look it up. It's on Amazon Prime. I'll go back and look at that. But it takes every trope of, like, the weird house, right? The master marries the young woman. And
Kind of gothic?
Yes! It's got this great creepy housekeeper, and the previous wife died, but there's weird sounds. It's a comedy, but they're playing it all for like the dark, real.
Okay.
It's delicious, and I can't remember the name of it.
I've been watching Superstore, which I had a few folks say, "Oh, Superstore." I'm like, okay. I began watching the first part of the first season. I'm like, oh. And then I'm like, no, let me go back because more folks are saying they love it. About halfway through season one, they kind of found their footing. In the same way that Parks and Recreation, like that first half season is kind of and then season two hit and like, oh shit, now we're going. Now we know who we are. Now we know what we're doing. And it felt that way halfway through season one. So now I'm in. Now I'm totally in. I'm halfway through season two. And which is literally just kind of basic workplace comedy, lots of eccentric characters, but they're all employees at a Walmart type store called Cloud9.
A superstore.
A superstore.
Or a box store.
So let's go ahead and call this Food Castle. Chantel.
Could you reach the pork and beans on the top shelf? There are store brand pork and beans on the bottom, middle, upper shelf, but I long for the name brand beans with real pork bits inside.
Look, Chantel, you come in here every week and you require me to reach from the topmost shelf and bring you a good that you could easily get at any other time. But you only approach me on my shift, and only in the last half hour of my shift. Do not think your patterns are unnoticed. Your beans, madam.
The label on this can I most envy, for it has known your touch. I must away because you are soon to be released from your work and trouble into the night. I must say I often sit at home and wonder when you take off that smock with your name there embroidered upon your chest most broad. And I wonder, where goes he when he leaves that citadel of commerce?
Would you know, Chantel? Would you know wherever I go, for I shall tell you. I go to my home, a small studio apartment that I do share with my mad aunt, who is racked in mental anguish, and who doth nothing but watch her stories day and night, and occasionally howl at the moon through the open window. And I do provide her with the very beans thou holdst in thy hand, which I must now restock, for thou hast entered the can.
Drop them. They will go in the bin of damaged yet still perfectly good, but people don't like things that are aesthetically broken.
As we as human beings inevitably are. No, we desire that which is unattainable by our own means, that which can only be provided by another, and thus we do fetishize them. For they give the illusion of being stronger, more powerful, more able than they themselves.
Two cans similar, yet one bent inside and out. This one seeming perfect.
And yet inside,
We know not, do we? Not until we pry it open and let the innards leak out onto our toast.
and should we then take those innards and spread them one next to the other, could we distinguish them?
No,
We could not.
for alike they seem, and yet packaged at different times, expiration dates differing. Just like life of humans. We might have been born in the same year, and yet our expiration dates may not match.
Nay, and yet within we are but bones and viscera and offal. We are nothing but meat and chemicals.
Did you say I'm awful?
Offal.
Oh, awful. Like,
O-F-F-A-L.
yes, like variety meats.
Oh, yes, they are variety meat. But
Well,
they're
that's the
also
name.
intestines and things
Have you
like
often
that.
wondered why it's called variety meats? Well, even the very intestine, the viscera tripe, is still considered a variety meat.
Well, yes.
Or a kidney, or I rather fancy a kidney now and again, although I'm quite fond of livers. Have you ever had chicken salad with chicken livers mixed in? It's rich but quite fulfilling.
No, I cannot afford on my salary such luxuries.
You can't afford variety meats in your salary.
Well, not chicken salad with livers inside them, no. Livers are considered a specialty item.
Since when are livers special? They're the processor of bile and refuse.
Since when are swallows' tongues considered a delicacy? We would consider them, to be quite frank, disgusting. And yet Roman emperors thought of them as being a treat because they were so hard to obtain.
Much like the emperor in the ortolan, who would want to eat a tiny crunchy bird, bones and all, and yet it remains a delicacy. My digression is confounded thee, and I take a certain pleasure in the knowledge that I have given thee pause.
Chantrelle, you pursue me. I am not ignorant of this. And yet I am but a poor stock person who has a mad relative that he must care for. I have neither financial, emotional, nor temporal means with which to woo thee.
May I simply touch the patch upon your chest where the words are emblazoned? Employee of the month.
A title
Beauregard.
I take seriously.
You know, most people shorten their name upon their name badge so that it's larger and would have gone by Beau, but you shortening your name not present your full self to the world.
I would have myself be complete and small in stature.
Yes.
I would vanish into the night, into the back alleyways of the store, into the loading dock itself.
I've often wondered about the loading dock.
It's a place of great masculinity. A place of burly, gorilla-like men who do nothing but lift and place, lift and place. It's a place of harsh humour and harsher words.
And yet you find yourself at ease there, like I've seen you do with all walks of life. Every person that comes through that door, once they get past the greeter, much too jovial, then do they enter into your realm. And whether it's helping them find the special on 2-for-1 toilet roll or that extra large jar of pickles, you can communicate with them.
It is my job to serve all customers of all ranks of station, be they rich, coming in only on a trip for a quick pack of chips or some batteries, or destitute, furtively pickpocketing and shoplifting the things they need to exist.
Believe me, I've seen you let them by. I saw a man walk out of here with an entire flank steak shoved down his dungarees, and you allowed that. His family ate meat for the first time that week.
Aye. And it cost the store next to nothing. And none but you saw me.
The price on that man's soul is great, but washed clean by your aversion of your eye. A moment ago you mentioned something, and I cannot let it pass. Batteries. Charge. Power. You are the battery of this store. You are the charge and the power that keeps us coming back. I know I may not possess you alone, for you belong to all who shop here. And yet I worry about you when you're at home. We've heard about your aunt.
You should forget me, Chantrelle. I am but one of a dozen faceless employees here. Forget me entirely. Replace me in your mind with any of the other, with the vests indicating their status. I am just part of the store. Nothing more, but infinitely less once I leave here. I am not the strong hand that attains the impossible. I am weak and pathetic.
Oh, but I see the strength in you that you deny, and I must find strength within myself to continue to deny thee. I see the line at the self-service counter has dwindled, and I have no longer a reason to stay. I will take my beans and pork in viscous liquid, and I will go. But I leave thee this one thought. You are more than your vest and name badge. You are so much more.
Clean up on aisle 3. I think I hath broken my heart here. It doth bleed upon the ground. I kind of want to stop there.
Me too!
That kind of felt like its own thing.
Its own thing!
Yeah.
That was so fun!
That was so delightful. And in the same, wow, and in the same room.
In the same room!
I am a bit beyond. So that's for our patrons. Thank you so very much for being with us while we rediscovered what it was like
to play in the same space.
To actually feel the energy coming from each other. To honest to God make eye contact.